It's an interesting one. We will try to make it as real as possible. We wouldn't make it an abstract thing. And what it means that it's going to be highly interactive. I don't so much believe in textbook teaching. So ordinary, my class is a bit interactive. So we'll share ideas, and I set you thinking. Yeah, because I know we have what it takes to think finance and to talk finance. Okay. So earlier this morning, I posted something at the forum. I don't know whether you saw it.
Okay, I did it.
You didn't check. Okay, so you have to be up and about. Okay, maybe from time to time, maybe you check to see if there's an information that I left there. I kept something there that I wanted it to form part of our interactive session this morning before we begin to discuss textbook ideas. Yeah, because these are daily things that we carry out on a daily basis. So they are things that we know very well. We have them at our fingertips, but then when you structure them like a lecture program, people begin to like feel that, wow, what is she talking about? But it's something that we live on a daily basis. I don't know, has the second person managed to come in?
Okay, let me call him.
I can't see.
I can't see him yet.
Yeah. Not yet, but I'm taking a recording. So whatever the case may be, they will see benefits.
Okay, so you can share with them. Okay, so beautiful. So in that case, so we can move on. So there, I was kind of asking you people to identify various forms of activities that people engage in. Okay, what are the various forms of activities that you can think of that people engage in? Just think of anyone, and let's start with that.
Okay, buying and selling.
It mustn't be buying and selling because you have seen international business finance. You can think of other things. I don't so much flow with students who are copy and paste. So this cannot be copy and paste. You're seeing international business and you're telling me buying and selling. No, come out real. Look at your environment. There are so many things that people engage in. So let's have the discussion from there.
Okay. There are what you call productive activities.
Beautiful.
You know, farming.
Beautiful. Okay.
You know, we also have service activities.
Okay. So let's pick one of them, like the production. You mentioned production. Okay. So a second question is this: Why do you think that people get into production? Why would you think that people will want to engage into various forms of production? What could be their justification for that?
The justification for any form of production is to be able to create some form of value, which can then be exchanged.
Okay.
Exchanged for some other kinds of value, either money or some other forms of value.
Okay. So we've identified something very important. The first one is value creation. Okay. Value creation, and for a purpose. And what is that purpose? It could be for them to also make a kind of living from that, is it not? So also, when we talk about business, interaction, we know that the end result is profit oriented. Okay. Unlike when we have maybe charity organizations, for instance, they may engage in various forms of activities, but the end result will not be to make profits. But whenever we discuss business, to end is profit oriented. And we know very well that depends on the type of business. It may not just be a single owner, it may be multiple owners. They have a common goal. Sometimes they may have people that have invested in that business. So at the end of the whole program, they also want the investors to smile home. They want to make the investors happy. Now, we are not in this particular course, we are not just going to look at business. We are going to look at international business. We are going to look at business across several jurisdictions, from one environment to the other. If I'm handling a business within Nigeria alone, of course, it's within the domestic environment. But then if my business is taking me beyond Nigeria, I'm an international business person. Okay? So in this course, we are going to appreciate why do people cross border to get into business transactions? Why can they not remain within their local environment? Why do they need to move from one environment to the other? Could there be strong justification for that? We have identified something that for most businesses, they are profit-oriented. Okay? I don't know whether it would be nice to share our slides since we are very few, or we'll just talk and leave it. So I need to hear from you. What do you feel?
No, please, let's share the slides.
Okay.
Let's share the slides.
So what will you do with your mates? Because you are going to teach this lecture to them later. That's what it means, that once I'm done with it today, they depend on you to learn. Agree?
Will the slides still be available for everybody to view at least later on?
Well, let's see how it goes. I believe Henry will handle that because he is recording the lecture.
Okay.
Henry, is he not?
Yes.
You are now unmuted.
So I guess it will be better available to them. Okay, so let's see how. I think it's also good that we'll take off properly so that they will know that we've commenced. If not, if we keep looking for dates, they will never surface. So you can see. Can you see my screen? Is it showing?
Okay, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let me see. Like I told you before, that's the course title, okay? And we'll try to do a little background to that. So international business refers to a wide range of business across borders. Like I told you earlier, I said whenever we are talking about business, that it's not just within one location. Okay, if I'm a business person and all activities that I get into within Nigeria, I start and ends here. I'm into domestic business, but then if it's across other jurisdictions, we begin to talk about international business. Okay, because this is different from the domestic business. At international, there are both opportunities and challenges. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me that at international level that there are both opportunities and challenges?
Of course, yes, I do.
Okay, so can we identify some of such opportunities? What do you think would be a good opportunity for one to engage into international transactions? When we look at opportunity, then we look at the challenges. What's a pity that the class is not full, because it would have been a beautiful interactive session. But we can do justice to that because you're well loaded from your background. So what could be the opportunity aspect of it?
Well, international business would give the advantage of a greater markets, for business activity.
Yeah, hold it there. Hold it. Just don't lose your thought. But when you talk about greater markets, what do you think that will make you to begin to look for a greater market? Assuming you're in Nigeria, when you have the enormous population that we have, how will you begin to dream about greater market? Assuming you're a business person in Nigeria, and you come up to say that, why you want to explore international business is because you're looking for greater market. Do you think that justification will be is well articulated? Are you saying that you do not have enough people to patronize you here? So I really want you to explore that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I really want you to explore that. What exactly do you mean by greater markets? It is very correct, but I really want you to explain that better. if you can't get it right, it will become #1 exam question. So expo #1, but try to see if you can get it right. Of course, you know very well in the class. In the class we set the exam question and we mark. So for any student that is religious in attending lectures, obviously will not fail. So think about it and let me see your line of thought.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is
okay.
Yes, there's a large market in Nigeria, you know,
okay.
but the businessman is never. You keep aspiring for a greater share and a greater share of the market. Good. So you're looking for, you want to maximize your wealth and profits, and so you keep exploring opportunities both locally and internationally.
You're already talking like an international business person. I love that word. I love that word, to maximize your wealth. I love that. So a business person will actually want to maximize the wealth. So what other opportunity do you think that would be a strong incentive for somebody to engage in international transaction?
Another incentive or opportunity is the opportunity to diversify one's risk. There are some risks that are country based.
Can you give us an example?
For instance,
can you use Nigeria as your case study? Okay.
Political risk in a country, you know, for instance, in Nigeria now, I think there's a lot of risk as a result of the policy direction of the government. You know, there's a lot of risk. You know, there are lots of the policies are not very coherent.
Okay, fine. But Babatunde, let me quickly point out something now that we are having this. You see why I say that the introductory aspect of the lecture is also very important, because when you allow the student to flow, you'll be able to appreciate one or two things. You have to read in between the lines, especially when you're doing exam questions, okay? For instance, we identified two issues here. We say there are both opportunities and challenges, and we are looking at opportunities, but from the look of things, you are giving me challenges.
No. What I was trying to say is, if there are country risk in a particular country, risk in it, you know, international business will afford you the opportunity. You can diversify to another country to mitigate some of the impacts of the adverse business in one country as against the other. Yes. That's what I mean. Okay.
So now let's look at the challenges. Can you think of the challenges that may be a strong motivation for business to move from one jurisdiction to the other? Have I lost you?
Can you just list some of them?
Don't worry. No, of course, we have them in the slide, but you must put on your thinking cap whenever you're in my class. You know, because we'll ask questions that will provide answers. Okay. Now let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Say the growth of this business, this international business, because we say that is transaction across several jurisdictions. An international business person may not or even be restricted to 2 or 3 countries. It may even be more. Okay, and we said that for us to appreciate this international business, we must appreciate that term globalization. Is a word that we must be at home. Of course, we're going to dedicate a full topic to globalization. Why? Because globalization has actually helped international business to develop moving it to a greater height. Okay. So while we talk about international trade, we know that something is like a strong driver. So we can now say that the globalization is like a very strong driver of international trade. And we've identified some of the reasons why we feel that maybe business or maintain physical presence in one country and at the same time want to expand, diversify, like you rightly say, to another country. Okay? Do I have your permission to go on?
Yes, you do. And I just want to draw your attention. I think our two other colleagues like the house.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. So we also look at international finance, and you can see that international finance with multiple questions, trying to say what exactly are we trying to draw our attention to whenever we talk about international finance, not just international business. So international finance applies microeconomic models to help understand the international economy. Now, remember we said something about international business, that is transaction that is not restricted to one jurisdiction, okay? That it's across border, it brings other jurisdiction. So for it to have meaning, for us to really conduct its effect, think about the currency, we need to think about the exchange rate, we need to think about inflation, we need to think about so many things, and interest rate. And this is what international finance will address. Are you with me? I may not bother myself about the currency. I may not bother myself about the exchange rate, true or false, because I mean, it's about Nigeria. If our naira is going down, we all go down with it. If it's coming up, we all come up with it. I don't have no serious challenge about the interest rate and other things, because a lot of things are happening within my environment, within my jurisdiction. But if I'm taking the business across the border, if I'm leaving Nigeria and I'm taking my business to Europe, I'll be concerned about a number of things. I'll be concerned about the currency, because obviously it's not going to be the same currency, okay? So that's why I put the multiple question mark for international finance, for us to appreciate. We are going to look at a number of things in detail. Remember, this is like the general overview. We are trying to like touch the lectures, and we appreciate them in details, okay? So unlike trade within countries, barriers between countries inhibit the completely free movement of goods, persons, and capital. These barriers may be political, like you rightly said, social or linguistic, as well as economic barriers that are primarily economic, include customs, direct trade restriction, or exchange control. So yeah, we have our business in Ghana, for instance, and we don't really have so much problem in terms of movement, because it's within that jurisdiction. But then if we are now moving, if we are now crossing border, there are so many issues. Let's take, for instance, political. Can we think of the political issue? Not too long ago, before the pandemic, okay, there was a time that we had a big challenge with and we do not want transaction from this place or from that place. Do you understand? So assuming we have this kind of, it may not go well with them. So there could be political issues. Then when we talk about other barriers, like economic barriers, what do you think would be a major economic barrier when we are into international transactions? You said we have other people in the house, so can we hear them talk? All these latecomers, please, can we hear you talk? It's not only Babatunde. So who else is in the house now?
Okay, just
my name is Nnamdi.
Okay, okay, you came in late. You had traffic on it. Hello. I'm just pulling your leg. I'm just pulling your leg because this is meant to be an online thing. So I was asking whether there's traffic on your road. I'm wondering why you.
I got information late. I got information late, but I'm here now.
Okay, thank you for coming. Who else is with us?
Joseph.
Okay, Joseph, did you people manage to check the platform before now? Because I had something in the forum. Did you look at it?
No, I've not checked. I've been trying
You have not checked. Connect. Okay, no problem. Let's go on. Yeah, before you people came in, I was actually discussing with Babatunde if this timing is okay. So now that we have something that is near full house, can we conclude on that? Is this timing okay for you people? Because for me, I don't have any qualms. I'm okay with the timing. But if people find that it's not ideal for you, can we agree on a more suitable timing? Because I like having my students in the class. I don't believe in people just reading the documentation, because in the class we share knowledge, we interact. No matter how you read the textbook, you can never get the same inflow of ideas when we share ideas in class. So that's why I love my students to be in the class while I deliver my lectures. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
I think I'm cool with this time. It's just that network was having issues, so I couldn't connect on time.
Okay, so that's one person now, and Babatunde that came early. That means that the timing wasn't bad for you. So, do we take it to be that we stick with this timing? I'm at your service.
It's okay by me.
Okay, so well, let's continue with it. If we have challenges later, I mean, that's why we are human beings. We are flexible. We can adjust. But for now, we'll stick to this time. But please, let's try to a bit punctual. Somehow, I managed to be somebody that loves punctuality as a habit, really. So I would love if we can manage with that. So if we say 10, let our 10 be 10, please. Okay? So let's go on. So we are saying that we may have barriers, and I said, can we look at the economic barrier? So if we say that we are into business transaction and we are considering the economic barrier, how can that be? And what are those things that may constitute the economic barrier for business across other jurisdictions? It is a question, not a statement.
Okay. What about the issue of protectionism, where a country wants to protect its economy against others? It could be a barrier also.
Why would a country want to protect themselves? It's a good point, but why would a country want to protect themselves?
Yeah, it could be the desire to protect the infant industry within such country. It could also be the desire to protect senile industries that are old and are dying, but they want to revive them.
Okay, yeah,
I've protect the country also against the consumption of harmful goods also.
Yeah, there are so many reasons, and I really thank you. From the look of, please, who just spoke? What's your background?
My name is Joseph. How would you?
Okay. Joseph, what? Okay, so you have related discipline, so that's fine. Okay, now let me quickly ask you a question, because that's why I love interaction. When you engage students in the class and they get into interaction, they say a number of things that will trigger off so many topics, even unrelated topics. Then we don't mind, because somehow so many things are related. Now you say something about protectionism. Okay, can you begin to I don't know, how do we begin to reconcile protectionism and globalization? Because at the onset, when I don't know whether you have joined us, when we're trying to have our background properly spelled out, okay? We say that one of the key drivers of international trade, international transaction, is the advancement of globalization.
Okay.
Are we together? We said globalization has actually motivated international trade. Now, you are telling us that protectionism is also there. So, how do we reconcile globalization and protectionism? Do you have anything to tell us about that?
Okay.
It mustn't really be you, because you have not committed any crime by saying that, so your colleagues can bail you out. so that will not make you not to talk next time.
Okay.
Your colleagues can bail you out. But you understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, I understand you.
First, can you help us with what do you really see? How can you really explain to a lay person? Don't give us economic definition, please. We hate abstract things because it gives us headache. We want to be as simple as possible. We say things that we know, we can feel, we can touch. Everyday language, okay? So don't begin to quote Modigliani for us now in trying to define globalization. Please just give us in a simple layman language that you see somebody in the market and maybe somebody from your village said, okay, I've heard that you're into this program. I say one of the things that I've learned is globalization. He said, what does that mean? Please don't begin to speak that kind of big grammar. So how can you explain globalization in a simple term? Anybody in the house? Anybody?
Okay. From Joseph.
Joseph, yeah, go on.
Okay, in a simple layman term, I think.
Yeah, that wouldn't give us headache. It's nice. We don't want anything that will give us headache.
Okay, it's like removal of trade barriers among nations.
Beautiful. And you are telling us about protectionism. So reconcile.
Okay, the reconciliation is that protectionism inhibits globalization.
So where do we go from here? More confusion. At the end of the day, you confuse us before we finish this lecture. We are in trouble.
Okay, can I make an attempt from here, Nnamdi?
Beautiful. Nnamdi, God, please.
Okay, I think for developing countries or developed countries, globalization seems not to be to their advantage. Somehow, economically speaking or environmentally speaking, their endowed natural resources are being exploited or fully consumed or given access to other developed countries.
Nnamdi, without globalization, hello Nnamdi, without globalization, do you think we'll be having this lecture online without you seeing my face and you're hearing my voice? Hello, are you there?
I'm here, but I think it has its own advantages. It gives underdeveloped countries or underdeveloped businessmen or business access to fund.
Okay,
so it has its own
no problem. We are going to see all of them as a full topic. They all have full topic. At least I've set all of you thinking, so that you know that whenever you're coming to the class, moreover, since it's 10 o'clock class, that you don't have to sleep. Okay, so thank you for all the thoughts that you're raising. You're raising so many issues in the class. Now we've come to realize that in as much as there are transactions across from one country to the other, across several jurisdictions, okay, there are opportunities, there are challenges. These are the basic facts that I want us to go home with. There are opportunities, there are challenges. We have one major driver of international transaction. There are other ones, but globalization is key. Okay, it's just like in summary what I have said so far. So let's move on. So in some cases, impediments to trade are more subtle and take the form of elaborate custom procedures. Just like somebody said, I don't know, was it Joseph or Nnamdi that said that they may have so many reasons why they get into restrictions, why they wouldn't just want to throw their door wide open. We are going to see details of that, because in as much as we say that, they have opportunities, they have things to enjoy, there are incentives, but there are so many other things that may not go well with other nations. Now, all countries need goods and services to satisfy wants of their people. Okay? Within your country, there are so many things that you need. Can they provide all they need? If not, why? The floor is open. You don't need my permission to talk.
Okay. Can they provide all they need?
If not, why?
It's practically impossible to provide all that you need.
Okay.
Resource resource constraint is even one of them. The resources.
Please, can you come to our level? Who is talking? Is that Joseph?
It's Joseph.
Joseph, please, can you come to our level? I told you to always explain to us in a simple English. Don't give us economic terms that will give us headache.
Okay,
come to our level.
Okay, what I'm saying is a country cannot provide all they need because the resources required for production of everything that a society needs may not be domiciled in that society.
Example. Yeah.
Okay. For example, okay, we may want to produce a car in Nigeria. We need cars in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But we don't have the technology, the manpower to produce these cars. Therefore, even though we are in need of it, we can't produce it because we lack capacity in terms of technology and the resources.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
Case, you need to import such goods into your country.
Okay. So other than that, any other reason why we feel that people may not just depend on themselves? Nnamdi, can we hear you? Babatunde, have you gone to sleep now that we have other people? After Nnamdi, let me hear your voice.
Sorry, I had a little network issue. I'm back now.
Oh, so sorry about that.
Can you come up with a question again?
You can look at your slide. Is there?
Can they provide
no, I had network issues.
Okay, you can't read this. You can't see the slide.
I can see the slide. Okay.
We said we are looking at whether within a country if they will be able to provide all that they need. And we said, if not, why? Assuming they are not able to provide all they need within a country, what could be the reason for that? Yeah. That's where we are.
Okay, a country may not have all the raw materials to produce what they need.
Thank you.
Secondly, they may not have the...
You're moving too fast. I like it. Please, when you raise one issue, let's flow with you very well. You mentioned raw material. Can you explain that? Let's appreciate it better. So that even when we don't read, as we are busy people, even when we do not have time again to look at our manual or other things, at least we'll remember what you told us in the class, and with that, we'll be able to answer exam questions. So if you just drop it hanging like that, assuming they don't have raw materials, and what about that? So what's raw material? What can you give us an example of what you're telling us?
Okay, for instance, crude oil. Okay. It's not all the countries in the world that have crude oil. So some countries will depend on others to access fuel and diesel.
Thank you. Okay. So what
secondly,
other reasons?
Secondly, the human resources or human skills. Some countries may not have the ability to maybe they may have technical abilities or technical skills to produce some materials or some equipment. So definitely they will rely on the expertise of other countries in order to get such equipment.
Okay, so that's a good one. So let's go on. I mean, it's always exciting when you have intelligent people in your class, and I'm confident that at the rate we are going, I will feel very free to set my exam questions without blinking an eyelid, knowing that I have men of timber and caliber.
I hope we're not creating issue.
I'm not trying to scare you, but I mean I'm excited because it's becoming quite interactive, and I think I like this. Okay, so generally no country is self-sufficient. It has to depend upon other countries for importing the goods which are either non-available, just like you said, okay, with it, or available in insufficient quantities. Similarly, it can export goods which are in excess quantities with it and are in high demand outside. Maybe they need it outside and then more than is needed within the country. Okay, so all these things are the things that help nations to, like, of course, when we talk about protectionism. Of course, like I said, we are going to look at it in details. We are also going to look at its impact, even in this present pandemic, the place of globalization and protectionism. We are going to consider all these things. Okay, so let's move on. Refusing to be constrained by national boundaries can offer an infinite number of investment opportunities. This is a statement. Can we look at that? When we say that, okay, I can't just remain within the domestic environment. Because we have the advantage of maybe being endowed with the natural resources, okay? So we can take advantage of that. But at the same time, in finance, when we consider this kind of thing, when a nation is blessed with a particular resources and they can get into all manner of investment and export and the other things, what are the challenges that then always think about a familiar environment that you can use to like create a scenario and maybe take it as a case study. Now, looking at this, we've identified something. We said a particular nation may have the natural resources, the endowment, okay? They are endowed with a particular resources, and because of this, they are taking advantage. Somebody actually advanced and mentioned, like using Nigeria, mentioned things like the crude oil, okay? Now, I'm looking at it from the flip side of it. We said when they are into this can increase number of investments outside. What could be the negative implication of such? That's actually my question.
Resource dependency.
Mm-hmm.
Resource dependency, such as
in
the Nigerian situation, in which we have what we call referred to as a mono economy, literally. You know, where we are close to 70% of our government, of all government income, is from oil revenues.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be one of the challenges.
That's a very good one. Have we heard of something that is called rental economy? Rental economy.
Yes.
Okay. So let's read around that, and then we'll take it up as a discussion in the next class. Remind me that even when you are blessed with the natural resources, if care is not taken, it will push that economy into what we describe in economics or in finance as rental economy. So read around rental economy, and we discuss it in our next class. Okay. So that's what we're saying, that when you have all this, also you have to be careful, and I think that's one major problem that we are facing in Nigeria. Okay. Now, reasons for international trade, just like we've somehow touched it. We said one is access to new markets. In fact, when I was just alone with Babatunde, he also mentioned that. I think I can't remember the exact question I asked. They said, okay, looking out for new markets. And my question is this: assuming you're in an environment like Nigeria, where you also have the population, why would you begin to look out for new markets, new opportunities? Is it that you do not have enough, you're not getting enough patronage within your country, especially if you are coming from highly populated nation? So now that we are full in class, can we, people that came in, can you help us with that?
Okay. Through international trade,
yes,
one can have access to new market, in the sense that
get me right. Hello, get me right. I said we have reasons for international trade. And one of the key reasons why people engage in international trade is to have access to new markets. And I now ask the question, assuming you are a producer in Nigeria, for instance, and we know that we have the right population in terms of human existence, okay? I'm asking, why would you want to begin to try to market your product elsewhere when you have more than enough people in Nigeria? One after the other.
One is to increase sales, which in turn increase your profit.
I'm listening.
The second one is also to increase the market share or the popularity of your product.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Remember something that is very important, which we said at the beginning of the lecture, okay? That the major aim of the business is what? Profits. Every business to a large extent is profit oriented, okay? So for that reason, they also need to expand the market share. So we'll look at the second one, production efficiency. Can someone help us with that? This is another reason why we entertain international transaction, international trade. Production efficiency. How can we explain that?
Joseph is the one speaking.
Okay,
production efficiency. Okay, it's possible that that you can produce a particular product in an economy or in a country, but at a higher cost.
Okay.
So if it's possible to still produce that same product, or yes, that same product at a lower cost in another country, one can still engage in international trade through that.
That's a big one. Of course, we have already identified access to resources. So also to reduce political and regulatory hurdles. How is that? The fourth one, to reduce political and regulatory hurdles.
For instance, there are some countries that have very tight regulatory authorities that will always charge you high, especially as regards environment. But countries like China and the third world countries, their environmental laws are not that too stiff. So companies or individuals will want to put in such country where they don't have strong environmental laws. And,
Okay, thank you very much. Have we heard of the word ease of doing business?
Yes.
Ease of doing business. Okay, that's assignment number 2. Unfortunately, as a habit, which, you know, they said old habit die very hard. So I've been trying to stop it, but to a large extent, I have not managed. I am known for giving assignments. There's no way we'll finish a lecture that you will not go home with. We will not go home with multiple assignments. So what you will do, whenever you're getting ready for my lecture, begin to pray. If you're a Christian, pray to God. If you're a Muslim, pray to Allah, that the assignment will not be so much. But as per assignment, we must have. So we've gotten a second assignment now. And it was, who spoke last? Joseph. Was it Joseph or Nandi? It was Joseph that pushed us into this second assignment, because he was saying a number of things, restriction and other things. So it would be nice for us to explore ease of doing business. So we'll now share ourselves into 2. How many are we there? We are 3.
Yes.
How are we going to do it so that it will be easy? Because we have 2 assignments that we are presenting next in the next class. The first one is rental economy. The second one is ease of doing business. So we are going to, I don't know how we are going to do it. So you resolve that yourself. It's not my headache. But we'll present it in the next class.
Okay.
We'll discuss it in the next class. What is ease of doing business? Where is Nigeria ranked in ease of doing business? Everything that we can read around that. So information now is a click away. So you don't bother yourself. I hope you know that this is a master's program. And because it's a master's program, there's no way you think that it is just that small pamphlet in the name of lecture note that we are going to handle. That is just like for us to have an idea. Because in the class, as the lecture is going on, ideas will be coming up, information will be coming up, and we need to explore all this. Because at the end of the day, we are masters. We will need to master finance. I think you love that language, master. You know what it means to master something. It's not a mean degree now. It's not a small thing. So it's like you are an authority. Do you get my point? So because of this, we are going to read. We are going to read, and we are going to be knowledgeable at the end of the program. It's not just for us to collect certificates. Okay? Okay. So we'll be highly knowledgeable. So ease of doing business, please take it note down so that you don't forget. And rental economy, we are presenting them in our next class. Okay? So let us pray hard that there won't be a third assignment before we finish. These assignments, they are not written anywhere. It's as we discuss, they come out. Okay? So that's why I keep begging you to always talk, you know, use the layman's language, because when you begin to blow big grammar, it may push us into so many assignments, but I'm sure we are equal to the task. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. The other one is access to technology. These are the things that we know very well. Okay? So we can say that we have good reasons for international trade. Is it not? Having seen all those things, access to raw material, to make sure that we get the right market share and other things, all the things that we listed. We now said, despite all these good reasons for international trade, yet we have prohibition. Can that be a paradox? In as much as we have good reasons, we've identified that there are so many good reasons for international transaction, international business. There are prohibitions. So my question is, why? Why should we have prohibition when we have good reason to throw our doors open and say, nations come in, come and trade with us? Yet we have prohibitions. Why? Whenever we throw a question in international business, like this kind of question, please begin to think. That's why I said my classes are always not abstract. Think about things that happens within your environment. Why are we having trade prohibition in Nigeria? You can use things like rice importation. Why are we stopping it? We say we don't want foreign rice again. We want local rice. Why? Why are we having prohibition?
One of the reasons we may have prohibition is to protect what we call infant industries.
Okay.
Yes, to protect the productive capacities of certain local companies, which otherwise would have been stifled with the incursion of other international businesses.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Is it possible for us to have a negative side of trade prohibition or import prohibition? Could there be a negative side to that? I give example. For instance, you've given a good reason why we feel that we need to restrict importation to promote infant industry. Do you think there could be at any point in time when government will come up and want to restrict importation for some other reason, having negative reason for that? Can you think of any?
A negative reason for that?
Something may not be really beneficial to the economy. It may not be out of concern for the economy.
It would be retaliatory move.
Okay, maybe we need to we are in trouble. Another assignment is coming up. Maybe we need... Are you started praying? You've not? Don't worry, this is the first assignment, so that by the time you go back, before next Monday, you must have done dry fasting for 3 days before this class, so that we'll have less. So that since people did not know and you've not prayed, so we don't mind having the third one. So when you go back now, you begin to fire prayer so that we'll have less assignment in the next class. Okay, so we are going to look at maybe how do we coin this question now? Let me explain precisely what I want us to do. It will be like a documentation, okay? While we have had import prohibition in Nigeria, sometimes the government may want to open their door widely for some other people to protect their cronies, or they may want to get at certain people in the economy. We are all Nigerians. Do I have any foreign students here? We are all Nigerians, no. So you understand what I'm saying. So look at the history of import prohibition in Nigeria. There was a time there was that prohibition in cement importation. Read around that and let's see what you can get from that. So that will be the third assignment. Import prohibition in Nigeria, a critic. How do you like that? Sounds like master's class. This is really a master class. I'm not dealing with undergraduates, so I can good enough from the look of things. I have very intelligent people in my class, so we'll do a lot. Okay, so it's on import prohibition in Nigeria. A critic. Let's do a critic of import prohibition in Nigeria, because sometimes it's not really to favor the economy. So check the other side of the story. Okay, the other side of the story will tell us, because sometimes they give us a documented information. We are bringing this to an end, but behind the doors, we know maybe the government is targeting somebody, or he now lift a ban to help the cronies. Do you get? So that makes it 1-1 for all of us. We are 3 in this class, is it not?
Yes, we are.
We are supposed to
yes,
be 4.
Yes, we are meant to be 4. Don't worry, the next time the 4th person joins, he or she will go home with double assignment. So now we have 1 each. 1 for each person. Maybe we'll get another 1 for the road. Let's see how it goes. So at the end of the class, you take decision. You can do it by balloting. You can write it on a piece of paper and say who takes what. Now we have 3 assignments. 1 is on rental economy. The other one is on ease of doing business. And the other one, the last one, is on import prohibition, a critic. Unfortunately, I never thought of these assignments until this lecture, while I'm delivering these classes. So even in the next class, I don't know, as the Spirit directs. In fact, anytime in my institution, once I enter the class at undergraduate level, you see some of them, they keep standing. I say, why are they standing? They say they are trying to take a kind of it's like fortifying themselves with prayers, so that the Spirit will reduce the level of assignment that they will go home with. So the interesting thing is that at the end of the day, at the end of the class, we'll all be happy, okay? Because it's about knowledge sharing. So what you do not read, you do not know. You may have faint idea, but by the time you explore it, assignment-wise, you'll be shocked at the level of information that you have. I know you people are busy people, but then if we set out to do this program, please, let's do it very well. We are not just certificate testing people. We'll live with the certificate. We'll live with the knowledge. How about that? It's our own advantage. After all, you're paying for this program, so you should be well. So that it is one cause that once you're done, so like we said, for reasons for prohibition, we can see it to protect the infant industry, that the infant industry for environmental protection. You see, there are so many things that we can actually explore. Okay? Governments also restrict import and export for political reasons. This kind of governmental restriction on trade is called a sanction, because they may have so many things. They can they favor their cronies? You said, that's why I said, okay, they can also get into this kind of import prohibition for reasons that are behind the cloud, not the things that we know. So we use Nigeria to build a case study where past governments use import prohibition to favor or frustrate. Okay, ordinary would have had this as a group discussion in class, but let's take it as an assignment so that it will not make the third assignment. That's the import prohibition, ease of doing business, and the rental economy. Okay, now let me quickly ask one question. Looking at international transaction, international business, okay, looking at so many things, looking at Nigeria the way it is, and we identify some of the things that ordinarily would have been in favor of any nation that we can say that they have it, okay, like the resources, the natural resources, okay, and the what's it called, the crude oil in Nigeria. Now, if we look at protectionism, like who said, when it's being practiced, is that we really want to protect the infant industry, we want to restrict importation, but on the other side of it, we have globalization. Globalization is trying to free the economy, okay? Now, for a developing economy, do you really feel that it is necessary or it is important for a developing economy to entirely free their economy, especially when it comes to portfolio investment within that economy? You know what I mean by portfolio investment? Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am. We're here.
Yeah. Do you really feel that a developing nation like Nigeria, when we talk about, okay, globalization, free movement of capital and everything, do you really feel that it is important and it is advisable for a developing economy like Nigeria to also free their portfolio investments? It's not an assignment, but read around that. We are not presenting it. Before I will lose all of you by next class, nobody will be in my class again. Because I'm sure you will say, at this rate, are we sure we are doing this course again? I don't want to lose you people. I want to have you by next class. Okay?
Are you a mind reader, man?
so don't worry about assignments. I don't want to scare you with assignment, but we really we want to build capacity. We want to be knowledgeable. Okay, so when we talk about free the economy, allow investment to come in, where will this investment favor a developing economy like Nigeria? That's what we are saying. Is it when we allow our investment in the portfolio investment, like into the capital market? Okay, or is it when we have physical presence of all these foreign investors? Which one do you think will be better for a developing economy like Nigeria? So read around that, and I'm sure you'll be happy. That one we are not presenting. We only have 3 to present. Okay, so that's it for today. Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Could you rephrase that question so that it's a little now? The portfolio versus the last question.
I said, remember, it's not an assignment for you to write so that you don't faint. Okay? I said, having identified a number of things in this class, okay? I said, for a developing economy like Nigeria, you know very well that Nigeria is a developing economy, okay?
Yes.
So I said, for a developing economy like Nigeria, do you think that freeing our economy for investments, let people come in to invest, foreign direct investment, okay? Let them come in and invest within our country. Do you think that it's beneficial for us to encourage investment into portfolio investment, like investment in capital market? Or do you think that it would have been better or it would be more beneficial to our nation if it's direct investment in physical things?
Okay.
Is it well noted?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you look at it and you read around that, you'll be able to appreciate my argument. We are still going to meet it further in the class as we move on. Remember, we've done like an overview. Okay, this is like a general overview, so that when we lay the foundation very well, and if you manage to read all the things that I've said that we should look at, when we begin to move, I don't think we'll have any problem. So with this, I think we've come to the end of today's class. Unless if you have any question, I'm ready to entertain your questions.
Thank you very much, Ma. How can we get access to the slides, please?
Henry, are you there with us?
Yes, I am now.
How would they access the slide?
When you said slide, what does it mean? Does it mean the recording or
the PowerPoint that I shared now?
Okay, there are two ways
Do
you
I-
can do that.
no?
You can either
Okay.
upload it as an announcement on the forum,
Okay. Okay.
or you might want to email it direct to them, but I would advise that you upload it on the announcement on the forum.
Okay. So I will do that. I'll upload it at the announcement forum so that people will get it.
You are now muted.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So good night. Have a good night rest.
Good night, ma.
Yeah, good night.